What is up, everybody? Welcome to the next edition of the Losers Lounge podcast. I'm Christian freaking Maracle, and I think you can tell by my voice I don't sound the best right now. Don't worry, I'm not sick, I don't have a virus, and nothing's wrong with me. My vocal cords are still in recovery from the event we're talking about on this podcast, because I was present for the show. But before we get to that, allow me to introduce with me right now. It's a small crowd, I only have one person with me, but that's okay. It's still going to be a very entertaining podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome two-time Losers Lounge Member of the Year and Optimistic Hall of Famer. I probably should not shout it as loud because I cannot physically do that right now. The heelist of Ballers.
Don't yell it out. Yeah, don't yell it out. Yeah. Don't yell it out because we need you at full strength here.
Yeah, the heelist of Ballers.
Yes, the heelist of Ballers. And that is me, of course. You guys know who I am. You guys know what I do on here. And what's up, ladies and gentlemen? What a freaking show that AEW put on this past week. Wow.
You know, for once, it's kind of interesting because last year we talked about All Out and we were ranting the living hell out of it because it was horrible.
True.
And now here we are this year and we're praising the living hell out of it because it was great.
True. Exactly.
Big turnaround. And I said before, All Out 2019 was good. All Out 2020 was shit. This was going to break the tie. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner.
Ding, 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 ding.
2-1. Yep. 2 good events, 1 bad event. That's okay.
Bro.
I would say I was attending All Out. I had really good seats. And the vlog for my live reactions will be releasing tomorrow, folks.
Sweet.
It was so good. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. And a lot of others who enjoyed it. Here's the thing. I quoted it as it was the greatest wrestling experience I've ever been a part of. I think you could tell by my voice. As of right now, it's Thursday, September 9th. This is releasing Friday, September 10th. And by that point, hopefully my voice is back at full capacity because I kind of need my voice for the Sins videos.
There you go.
But yeah, I can't believe it. 4 days, it's been slowly recovering, but it's only been doing well in the last 24 hours. But I still sound like I have a sore throat or something. But don't worry, folks. I'm not sick or anything. It's just I blew my voice out so many times through many moments. I guarantee you guys could guess which moments, which we will get to, obviously. Connor Riley not here this week. He is busy working out and getting himself in good shape because he is back in basketball for his senior year. So, Connor, congratulations. Rice Ryan is not available due to personal reasons, of which we will not discuss. But they both love you, and they cannot wait to see y'all again.
Yep.
But in the meantime, I got Willie here, and he's always fun to hang around with.
You know it. Every time I'm on here, it's always a fun time.
That is correct. Willie, I will ask you, what did you think overall of All Out?
The wrestling was great. The storytelling was fantastic. The surprises. I gotta give Tony Khan some credit here. Of course, I myself, I'm a guy, kind of a critic kind of individual. I critique things in wrestling. And with this show, I broke it down a little bit. There are a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, but overall it was a really fun show. It was a fantastic experience to watch with my boys. I shocked my boys. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then oh well. Who I got to watch it with. And it was an overall fun experience. Just spectacular stuff that happened during this show. Moments that I loved, especially, and we'll get to them in a bit. But overall, a really fun show. I rated it a 8 out of 10. And people are calling this the greatest wrestling pay-per-view of all time. That's really a stretch. It was fun. I personally wouldn't go that far. Of like saying, oh, it's better than WrestleMania 18 or WrestleMania 17. People are kind of rating it as. I personally wouldn't put over those kind of pay-per-views, but this is personally, in my opinion, one of AEW's best pay-per-views of the entire year. That's just my opinion there.
I would honestly say that outside of Full Gear 2019, it was their best pay-per-view they've ever done.
Yes.
And I quote it as it's about time they had a great pay-per-view since 2019, even though a lot of people give me shit once again by saying that Revolution 2020 or 2021, they were both great shows, even though I highly dislike them both. But like I mentioned, This is all just a matter of opinions. It's not a personal thing, so you should not be taking things personally, all because of critiques. And hell, I'm pretty sure y'all would probably get along with us now because we're going to be praising AEW in this podcast. There might be a few criticisms here or there, but they're not going to be major ones because nothing major happened that required any massive criticism, maybe except for the second to last match. But other than that, I will also state that I enjoyed my weekend in Chicago. It was good to be back there. I felt good to finally be back on tour. That's why I labeled it the Feels Good to Be Back tour. And the tour, ladies and gentlemen, is going to continue in 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks and 2 days. Because I will be in Columbus, Ohio, September 26th for WWE Extreme Rules. And I cannot wait. It'll be my first time attending Extreme Rules and my first time attending an event in Columbus, Ohio. I previously attended Fastlane in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was actually not that bad. I like the place. A lot of people say, though, Cleveland is shit. And I was walking around the city that year, and I was like, this ain't so bad. It's actually really nice here. I like it.
There you go.
Maybe the fact that it was so quiet and peaceful made it actually really good because in comparison to places like New York City or Los Angeles where it's crowded 24/7, there isn't some big giant-ass attraction everywhere you look, but that's, I think, is the best part.
Yeah, dude.
It was honestly easy to drive in that city. So I'm just saying, I've seen some images of the place where I'm going to be at Columbus. What I actually like about this, Willie, is the Nationwide Arena in Columbus. It's like the roads surrounding it is like the red brick roads. I like that.
Oh, nice, dude.
Those old school looking roads, or they're made of literal bricks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been to a lot of places that had a lot of those, especially when you have, the leaves from the fall going all over it. It looks so cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of the fall, ladies and gentlemen, but September 22nd, of course, is not only AEW's big event at Arthur Ashe Stadium, but it is also going to be the first day of the fall. And that means the leaves change colors, the weather starts getting cooler, and I just love the cold weather.
I personally am just getting tired of the hot weather, so I welcome the cold.
Yeah, and then you're going to welcome the hot weather when it gets too cold, right?
Oh, for real.
That doesn't make us hypocrites. That makes us, honestly, just guys enjoying life. But me, I just personally enjoy the cold weather because, no, it's not because I live up in Canada.
Yeah, man.
So I really am going to enjoy this. So not only will I be at the event in Columbus, Ohio of Extreme Rules, but I will be heading from there to Rochester, New York to not only stay with family for a few days, but I will be back at AEW for my first Dynamite. This was supposed to be the event I was supposed to attend in March of 2020. And here's the thing, Willie. The event I was going to attend in Rochester was going to be the debut of Mr. Brody Lee.
Brody, we miss you, homie.
We do. Maybe this time something different may occur.
I could totally see it.
I could totally see something happen. Wyatt!
Possible.
Ow. Sorry, I just coughed. It's like, I've been recovering from my voice, and sometimes I cough a little bit when I think about things. Bray Wyatt to AEW! What the hell was that?
You see, Christian, this is what happens when you strain your voice. You coughing too much, homie.
Okay, that's probably understandable. Finn Balor sucks!
Wow.
Sorry. I got crazy things. His name was Myro.
That's very true.
Okay, I'll be perfectly honest, folks. Last week when we went through that, which we're actually about to talk about right now, that was the funniest moment on our podcast that I've ever been a part of.
Gosh, for real.
And it's just always good to just have fun with people. All right, we're going to cut right into All Out, ladies and gentlemen. And All Out was fantastic. Hell, we even kicked things off with a great match. The TNT Championship, and finally, folks, I got their names correct. TNT Champion Miro defended against Eddie Kingston. There we go.
There you go. Give this
finally got it done, and after all this time, I was like, I can't believe I had it wrong all this time and whatnot because of what went down. And here's the thing. It's September the 9th. And you know what this means?
What?
This means that, at least I think it does, Miro debuted on AEW, I think, a year ago today.
Yes.
On AEW Dynamite, Wednesday, September 9th, 2020. And now, at All Out, he successfully retained the TNT Championship against Eddie Kingston. And it was a great match. It was a good way to open the show. I think they did a good job with that. I'm like, I was amazed with it. Match was less than 15 minutes long, but it was perfectly balanced.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we need and stuff like that. It's not too long, but at the same time, it's not too short, and it has great competition from both competitors. There were so many moments I actually thought Eddie was going to win the belt.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn it. So close. And then Miro, there was many moments where he almost won, and then Eddie kicked out. I was like, oh my God, there's still a chance. Eventually, Miro got the win, and you remember how he did it? The Machka kick.
Yes, sir.
Machka kick on Eddie Kingston to win the match, retain the title. And so, Willie, since you're the only one here, I will start with you.
All right.
What was your thoughts on the TNT title match?
Like I expected, this match was very physical, back and forth stuff, lots of stiff strikes. There are 3 parts. I thought Eddie Kingston was actually going to win the championship. Miro has been built just like a freaking tank, pun intended. And he has been doing so well as the TNT champion. In my opinion, he's been so far the most entertaining at TNA. I can't even speak. See, there we go again. TNT champion, and he really hasn't he hasn't really done anything wrong with that. I mean, they give him good challenges, and everybody who's been put in his way has been put to rest. And here was Eddie Kingston, same thing. Eddie's been doing great as well. This match did not disappoint. It was a great way to kick off the show. Although personally, I would have kicked off with the steel cage match, but that's just my opinion. But overall, really fun match. The right winner, Miro, and I like how he used the dirty tactic with the low blow and all that. Then the Machka kick, and then 1, 2, 3, and that was it.
Yeah, I will say that when it comes to those who've been TNT champion, I think we can both agree the worst one was Cody Rhodes.
Yes, sir.
Brody Lee sadly did not have much time as the champion, but that ended up revealing because of his medical issues that led to his passing. So that's not exactly his fault, but I would say he still was a better champion than Cody Rhodes.
Cody, just in my opinion, this is not hate on Cody Rhodes. For me at least, Cody just, in my opinion, didn't really do that much as the TNT champion. He put great matches, but this wasn't my kind of thing. Yeah.
Mr. Brody Lee did really good when he was, around and he was performing with the Dark Order. And when he took on all comers as the TNT champion, it was awesome. And the Dark Order, especially with Brody Lee as their leader, was fucking entertaining.
Yeah.
And then Cody had won it back. But that didn't last long because at Full Gear, he lost it to Darby Allin. Darby Allin's the longest reigning TNT champion, but I'm sorry, but his reign's been kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I completely forgot Darby Allin was the champion. I mean, it's not disrespect to him. It's just he wasn't booked correctly.
Yeah.
A lot of times he was just hanging out with Sting and performing tag team matches. I mean, there's nothing wrong with hanging out with Sting, but if you're a singles champion, you need to focus more on your title and not the guy you're hanging out with. It's like when the Shield was champion and Dean Ambrose, or this guy John Moxley, Dean Ambrose was United States champion with the Shield. We hardly remember that he was champion.
Oh, for real?
Because it was taking a back seat when he was with the Shield. Same with Seth Rollins as Intercontinental Champion 2018 when he was hanging out with the Shield.
Sir.
That's just sad. Same thing can be said now for Darby Allin because most of the time he's just spending time with Sting.
Yep.
And now we have Miro, who has been the best TNT champion.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anybody by his side. He's all with himself, and he's dominating the matches. He honestly should have came into AEW a year ago as this type of guy. He didn't, but it is what it is now, because he is what he should have been right now.
A monster.
Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if one day in a year or maybe 2 come down the line, he could compete for the world title.
Oh, for real.
I could see Miro doing that. But in the meantime, Miro's dominance as the TNT champion continues as we move on to the next match, which was Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. And here's the cool thing. I don't know if you noticed this, Willie, but when I attended the show, Jon Moxley was literally walked down the aisle right beside me.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yep, we got lucky seats. We were in the place where here comes Moxley. Mama Maracle managed to touch him.
Oh, nice.
She loves her lunatic.
Mox is great.
Yeah, he may not be known as the lunatic fringe like he was as Dean Ambrose, but Mama Miracle doesn't care. She still calls him my lunatic.
There you go.
Yep. I bet she would have been dying if it was Roman Reigns.
Oh, bro.
But not head of the table. She does not really like head of the table Roman much because she doesn't agree with the whole thing of tribal chief. But it's okay. In the meantime, Jon Moxley took on Satoshi Kojima from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And as much as it was an okay match, but I will say this is one that really didn't need to exist. In my opinion, it existed only so we could have Jon Moxley on the card.
That's what I said last week.
Yep. So, and that really showed a lot. I mean, they performed really good, but the thing is, Satoshi he's 50 years old. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, it's understandable you want to have Moxley face off against all these New Japan legends, and then compete in these matches, but the thing is, it was simply okay. I wasn't invested too much in the match because there wasn't that much going around with that one. And Moxley got the win, but then there was the arrival of Minoru Suzuki.
God, what a moment.
What a moment indeed. They ended up having a match on Dynamite on Wednesday. And sorry, guys, but in my opinion, it sucked.
Yeah, it's too short.
Yeah.
Of course, because TV time.
TV time, there was less than 10 minutes remaining. And even then, the match's quality in that time frame wasn't good at all. It was extremely slow. It wasn't that good. And I'm not meaning slow as in grounding your opponent. It's just like slow between each strikes. And I just did not like that at all.
That's fair.
And that's why I was like, oh, God. I understand. Somebody actually said, like, you're hating on, this is a dream match. You don't know what a dream match is. I'm like, hey, a dream match can be a dream match. That doesn't mean it's automatically good. I mean, here's the thing. In all due respect, look at Goldberg and The Undertaker. That was a dream match that people had wanted to see years ago. When it finally happened, it was one of the worst matches ever.
I swear, just go back and watch our shtick when we talk about that match.
Yep. Super Showdown 2019. Dream matches, they're not automatically good just because of who's competing in it. You want to put Sting and The Undertaker in the ring, it's not automatically good just because it's Sting and The Undertaker. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. One of the biggest examples of dream
months just face so and so, like bam.
Yeah. Jon Moxley doesn't need to face all these New Japan guys. I think this is just because sorry I had to say this, but it seems AEW has nothing for Moxley.
He's already been the world champ. I mean, he's been teamed with Eddie Kingston. Now he's off on his own. Like I said, this thing was just put on for Mox to just be on the card. So I didn't expect that much. Yeah,
I mean, it's not bad to just be put on the card. That just goes to show Jon Moxley's a big deal here. But it's just like, why bother? Because it's not exactly going to do well for the future of this guy. He's stuck in the place where we're asking, what's going to happen now? Well, what do you want to do? Kind of reminds us of like CM Punk when it came to talking to Vince. If you listen back on his Coca Cabana podcast, he was always told, well, what do you want to do? In this case, I don't blame them for putting him up against these New Japan guys because, they're trying to put up this deal, these collaborations with New Japan wrestlers.
Yes.
But at the same time, I just, it doesn't always have to happen, and this match didn't really need to exist on pay-per-view. It was okay, but there wasn't much to get involved in.
It was all right. I think the match in Japan was a lot better, in my opinion, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, just I don't feel like because the style was a lot more just. I wouldn't say watered down. It wasn't like New Japan like obviously for me because Suzuki could really go if he wanted to turn up to high gear, but they kind of I guess told him to tone it down a little bit. But I still enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, it's like
Kojima and Suzuki this past week, which is pretty good.
Yeah, I have good faith that John Moxley's gonna do good, like going down the line, because didn't he just recently win like that GCW title?
Yes, from freaking Matt Cardona in seconds. Although who cares about Matt Cardona, anyways?
Yeah, I heard Moxley's finally taking on Nick Gage or something in like some sort of death match.
Yes, next month.
Oh Jesus, we all know what happens. Nick Gage, hell, if he had his own Dark Side of the Ring episode, that just goes to show how much of a psychopath he is.
Yep.
Put him in with John Moxley, who's also a psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad they're not putting that on AEW because I don't think the TV producers would like this.
Yeah, they had him face Chris Jericho, so.
Yeah, and they were not happy with that at all.
I heard about that.
Yeah. So I'm like, putting on death matches on live television, like with big deals with like TNT or something like that, is not exactly good for business. Sorry to say it, but those type of hardcore matches are not best for business.
It's just to grab the pop, and people know that. That's what Tony was doing.
That's why, if you want to put them on like this death match is probably taking place at like one of the GCW events, possibly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's obviously fine because that's the whole deal over there.
Yeah.
We're putting them in CZW as well. That's the big deal.
Yeah.
But live television on a major network that hosts, like, other big-time sports is not exactly good for business because, like, if you don't see TNT, like, hosting, like, all these, like, big-time death fights in hockey games or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, though, overall, you enjoyed like the Moxley Satoshi match, just enough for it to be acceptable.
Yes, it was very acceptable match. But like I said, it was just put there to put Mox in the card, and I love the surprise of Suzuki coming out, and people are like, "Oh well, Suzuki was bleeding. That was from Mox and from his elbow." So I want to clear that up. Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they had their match on that Dynamite. Wasn't that good at much, and I'm so sorry, folks, that my voice is still not sounding normal.
Well, that's why I'm here.
I just imagine if people are like respond back and are saying, "Hey, man, your voice sounds a lot better this way." I'm like, no, it doesn't. This is not the Christian Miracle y'all love here. But it does go to show how much of a great show All Out was if I sound like this 4 days later.
Yeah.
So I'm proud.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next match, which was the AEW Women's Championship as Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defended against Chris Statlander. Dr. Britt had Jamie Hayter and Rebel with her, and Chris Statlander had Orange Cassidy with her.
Yes, sir.
I'm really glad that Orange Cassidy didn't take all the glory by just simply being there.
True.
Yep, and folks, if you're watching this, if you saw a sign in the crowd that says, "Chris, are licking doorknobs illegal on other planets?" Surprise! That was me. That was my sign.
There you go.
And the funny thing is, people did not know because the sign and the shadows were obscuring my face, so they did not exactly see my face until I literally said that was me.
There you go.
I was shown several times, like, throughout the show because of where I was sitting. I was 8th row in the riser stands where the camera were facing in the aisles, so I was shown quite a bit.
Nice.
As I kind of predicted it would. Anyways, the women's title match, I honestly looked at it, I'm like, it's about time we had some great women's action because that was a good match.
It was.
I was honestly afraid of me attending the show. I was going to witness a horrible women's match because we have seen a lot of horrible women's pay-per-view matches on AEW.
And Chris Statlander isn't the best ring leader in there. I mean, and you got Britt Baker, who in my opinion is super, super overrated, but I like her still. But, Oh, I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, it wasn't the best. There were a few near falls, which I liked. Love how Orange Cassidy got Statlander all fired up. And there was a few botches here and there, but nothing that ruined the match. And of course, Britt Baker retained. There was nothing really surprising, but overall, it was just a pretty standard women's match that I enjoyed. A lot better ones they've had.
Yeah, I'll also say, I think Britt was so excited that her husband, actually her future husband, they're not actually married, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Was going to show up on the card later, so she did the Panama Sunrise.
Yeah.
With the same hand motions that Adam Cole does, so I'm like, she spoiled it, huh?
Well, technically, it's the Philadelphia Sunrise, so yeah.
Philadelphia, Panama, same thing.
Yeah, they both start with P, so there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, Dr. Britt Baker retains the women's title, and we're going to be talking about her future challenger in a moment, in a little bit. But I will say, she's been champion now for over 100 days. She's already passed Nyla Rose, who, in my opinion, should have still been the first champion and had a longer reign than a simple 100 days.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say it's really cool to see how much Britt Baker has competed well, and I look forward to seeing her future challengers and who she could possibly drop the title to down the line. The women's title match, Kris Statlander, she's got a really good look. She has a lot of great charisma. She's not the best, as Willie said, but she has good charisma and great promise, and that's what we need. So it's really good that we're starting to pick things up good now when it comes to the women's division. That's exactly one of the things that AEW really needed to work on the most. The next thing they had to do is try to make Dark an entertaining show, because I was at Dark and Rampage, and I understand it was the whole thing. Here's the thing. Just because Dark was created specifically for these squash matches and enhancement talent does not mean it's good.
Bro.
I mean, sure, they admitted what it's for, but that doesn't mean it's good. You're still going to get your criticisms when you deserve it. Because, here's the thing. I attend these shows without the hopes of watching 16 to 17 squash matches in 2 hours. I don't attend to watch that. I tend to watch great wrestling, and that's not great wrestling at all.
Yeah.
That's just, once again, going to show we've got nothing for these guys.
Pretty much.
Sounds awfully familiar. But we are going to move on to, in my opinion, the best match of the night. The steel cage match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. As the champions, the Young Sucks defended the titles against the Lucha Brothers.
Dang right.
And here's the thing, Willie, you probably have much more knowledge than I do.
Yes.
That was a good entrance in the Lucha Brothers. Who was that guy?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I legit have no idea who that was.
Oh, okay. I will say it was actually not that bad. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of rap music or whatnot, but it was actually okay. That was actually okay. It was not bad. I enjoyed it, and I loved the outfits that Penta and Rey Fenix were wearing.
It gave me vibes of Rey Mysterio back at WrestleMania 22.
I know, right? I saw that. I was like, oh my god, we got a couple Rey Mysterios here. And hey, he ended up winning the world title that night. And lo and behold, look at that. Live performance, same looking outfits. They won their first tag titles in AEW.
Dang right they did.
It's really awesome to see that, because they're not only, the AEW World Tag Team Champs, but they're also still the AAA World Tag Team Champions.
Yes, sir.
Held them since June of 2019. So basically, they won them when we were shitting on The Undertaker and Goldberg.
Yeah.
That was that long ago.
Crazy.
AEW didn't even have a title existing yet. They only had one or two, one event so by that point.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Lucha Brothers are AEW World Tag Team Champions. The match felt like it was 30 to 40 minutes. Guess what? It was only 20.
Weird.
Yeah, it was only 20 minutes. And since it was a cage match, obviously there's no time limit.
That's true.
when it comes to those like stipulated matches, of course there's no time limit. That's how it works. It's only the singles matches that have time limits.
Very true.
And I was amazed, like how, oh my god, there were so many fun moments. Whether it was, it's okay. I'm at a loss for words because there was a lot of moments. I know we've seen these two teams compete each other several times, including at All Out 2019 in a ladder match for the AAA tag team titles. But what did you think of all these transitions into like springboards into Hurricane Ranas on the other opponents?
I thought it was very interesting, and this match just kept me on my feet the entire freaking time because I legit, and there are a few moments legit, like I was like, there's no way to win the gold. There's no way. And they brought the thumbtack shoe, which I saw as an audio with something they did with Candice LeRae back in PWG, which was fantastic. I remember watching that match, and just a very, very entertaining, balls to the wall, insane match, like I expected from these two. I expected the cage dive, which was fantastic. From Phoenix, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was like so many amazing stuff that happened. Like when I saw the the thumbtack shoes and whatnot, I saw that, and I was cringing really much. You'll probably see that in my reaction video tomorrow. That I was cringing really badly because I'm like, oh god, this is gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah,
and it fucking did. There was a lot of blood.
Oh yes,
and it was well put together. These teams did so good. I gave it a 4-star rating out of 5. A lot of people tell me I should have been 5 or 6. Well, go fuck yourself. That was my opinion.
Exactly.
But, hey, at least I praised it, right?
There you go.
Here's the thing. If it's not 5 stars, that doesn't mean I ain't praising it.
True.
It was so good. It was the best match of the night, and it was so amazing. Now, at that moment, even I knew that all the future matches coming up, even including the return of CM Punk, was not gonna go past this.
Oh, for real.
And it wasn't not a shot at any of them. I just like, this match was so good. A nearly perfectly balanced tag team match involving two great tag teams, 2 sets of bros. And when you have tag team matches like that, I keep saying to myself, that's what a lot of other companies should really do with their tag team division. Got to the point where, like, hell, remember the days. Tables and ladders and broken bodies along the way, all just for the tag team titles.
I do.
Yeah. Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, nearly killed themselves just so they could be tag team champions.
Oh, for real.
Tag team divisions are always fun to watch, especially in AEW, folks. If you want to watch some great tag team action for those titles, you will not be disappointed, trust me. I mean, I've been disappointed myself. But here's the thing. This match wasn't exceedingly long, and it was full of action. Here's the thing. I was also worried that the Lucha Brothers would say Zero, Mero over and over and over and over again to the point of I would be so pissed off. They only did it like 2 or 3 times, and it wasn't all in one moment. And at that moment, I was like, this is actually good. Finally. That's what they should have done this whole time. So that's why I loved it. It was so great. And, you mentioned the cage dive where Rey Fenix leaped. I like how Rey walked on the top of the cage just to get, was it Nick Jackson off of it?
Yes.
He nearly fell.
He did.
Yeah, I saw him almost lose balance. I was like, oh, shit.
For real.
Because it doesn't matter how athletic you are, like, it's so fucking scary to be up that high. And here's the thing. I have had very few wrestling matches in the short period I wrestled. But here's the thing. I've never been in cage matches or been that high up in the air. If I'm ever in a cage match, I think I'd be too fucking scared to go up there.
Oh, for real.
I'll take a dive or something where somebody's gonna do the dive on me. I'll take it, but I don't see myself climbing that high up. I could probably expect Connor from our lounge to do that, though.
A possibility.
But I enjoyed it. we have new tag team champions, and the Lucha Brothers absolutely deserved it. Young Bucks were honestly the most overrated tag team champions.
They freaking deserve it, man.
300 fucking days?
Yes.
I'm not surprised that a company called All Elite Wrestling, the two tag team champions that held on to them for longer than 100 days were Adam Page and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
The shortest reigning tag champs are FTR, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I still laugh at that because I'm like, okay, you got FTR here who left their other place of business because they weren't getting really good long title reigns and stuff like that, or not doing well with their title reigns. They lose their AEW tag team titles on the first defense.
Yes.
I'm like, wow. This is deja vu. And they have done nothing since then.
Yeah, it's nothing. I mean, I hope they do something with them because they're probably the greatest tag teams out there amongst many.
Yeah. It's like the Pinnacle. I'm surprised that thing still exists.
Yeah, for the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle, man. Just drop whole stuff, man. For all of it.
Yeah, it really needs to stop. So we're gonna move on. Yep. All right. Match. Here's the thing. Willie, did I get your thoughts on this steel cage match?
Yeah, a little bit. I'll say a little bit more. Overall, it was a really fun match. I enjoyed every single bit of the freaking match, man. Personally, for me, it was match of the night. Basically, because my boys got the win. Very happy. I freaking cried. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that I was so happy. I love those guys to death. They should have been the inaugural tag team champs, in my opinion. But it was worth the wait. Thank God the Young Bucks lost. I respect them. I respect their work. But in my opinion, they are probably the most overrated tag team in professional wrestling out there currently, in my opinion. But they both, all those guys in the ring, they put their lives on the line, and they were fantastic spots, fantastic false finishes, and it was all worth it to see my boys get the dub. So really, really fun match. Match of the night, in my opinion.
Hell yeah, hell to the fucking yeah. You know, that's what we need.
Bro.
It's like that was the first half, and then the second half was also fun as well because the next match, ladies and gentlemen, this was also pretty good. I thought it wasn't going to be that good, but remember the 21-woman casino battle royale for a future AEW women's title match. And normally these casino battle royales aren't that good. This one was actually good. You know, they knew they couldn't do much when it comes to putting on great epic moments, so they worked with what they could. And in my opinion, that's what made it good.
It's one of the best ones they put out there.
And then once again, I was like, okay, I see all these women out competing, and they're doing so good.
Yeah, man.
And so I was like, all right, I'm loving this. The first set, we'll go through this in order, folks. The first set of the cards that came out were the clubs. That was Abaddon, the Bunny, Emi Sakura, Sky Blue, and Hikaru Shida. What a good way to start it, huh?
I forget time to see Shida back on television being stuck on dark for 100 days.
Yeah.
So,
here's the thing. This was the longest reigning women's champion for 372 days. And after she dropped the title to Dr. Britt Baker, she was not doing much at all. Because once again, it's one of those, if you lose the title, all of a sudden we got nothing for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, in my opinion, it would be kind of dangerous to try and go for titles. Because when you lose them, now what's next?
Dark.
Because here's the thing, it shouldn't be the end of your story. You should continue to immediately go do something else entirely.
For real.
So, here's the thing though. When I hear the name The Bunny, she works, with a Hardy family. It's like
I think I'm okay.
when I saw The Bunny, I was like, wait, Adam Rose's Bunny is here? Wait, oh, never mind. AEW and WWE have both had superstars named The Bunny. In this case, it was a female named The Bunny, who she's got bunny ears attached to her head during her entrance.
There's another company that used to have a wrestler as The Bunny. Not going to believe who it is. It was in Lucha Underground. And the bunny over there was legit, I'm joking, Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, actually. No, that's
Karrion Kross? Huh. Wow.
Yep.
Hey, anything for money.
Oh, for real. Don't worry, he wasn't dressed as a bunny. He was just called the Bunny.
Yeah. The one who was dressed as the bunny was PJ Black.
Yes. And where is he? He's on the Indies.
Yep. I would say like the first set, It was really good stuff, and I'm glad that they don't waste too much time going in between entrants. It's every 2 minutes. So.
Oh, bro.
So there we go. And the Diamonds were next, and the team of the Diamonds was Anna Jay, Kira Hogan, Kylin. Is it Kylin King? Am I saying it right?
I don't know.
Okay. Diamante. I said that right?
Yes.
And my favorite, Nyla Rose.
She's great.
It was so good to see her finally compete. Someone who represents my people. That's why, here's the thing, it means a lot to me to see Nyla Rose compete. It means a lot to me on a personal level, folks, because I'm Native American, and that symbol that you see in her entrance is the wampum belt, the sign of the Six Nations, and that's of which the tribes I'm part of. I'm one of the Six Nations. She's Oneida, and I'm Mohawk.
That's dope, man.
And I honestly want to implement some of that into me if I ever get back into wrestling again. Because, I want to represent my people, just like she is representing her people.
Yeah, dude.
And Nyla Rose, it was also cool to see Vicky Guerrero again. I love Vicky Guerrero.
She's amazing.
Still as obnoxious as she was in her WWE days.
Yeah.
So, it's cool to see all that stuff. And I think what I also enjoyed was Nyla Rose. She dominated once again. She eliminated 5 total participants and was the second to last eliminated in this entire Battle Royal. She won the first ever women's Casino Battle Royale by eliminating 10 participants. So she eliminated a combined 15. No other wrestler in the history of this match, including the men, have even gotten close to 15 total eliminations.
Oh, wow.
Nyla Rose, in my opinion, is the most dominating performer in Casino Battle Royales. And she's a great wrestler. Here's the thing, she does not deserve all the hate that she gets because she's transgender. She doesn't deserve that shit.
Nobody does.
And she's proven that, say it to her face, she'll whoop your ass.
Oh, she will.
Yeah.
She will.
I love her.
Mm-hmm.
It's a her, folks. Get over it. Anyway,
exactly.
The Hearts were next, and including the Hearts was Big Swole, Jamie Hayter, Riho, who I was like, wait, she's still around?
Oh, bro.
You want to talk about somebody who was women's champion, the first ever women's champion, and then disappeared off the face of the planet ever since she lost it to Nyla Rose.
Oh, bro.
Penelope Ford and the one everybody's favorite to win, Thunder Rosa.
Yes.
In my opinion, yeah. Here's the thing: when we did our podcast recording, I think we all said that Thunder Rosa should win it.
Yes.
I said either Thunder Rosa or potentially Nyla Rose or maybe Hikaru Shida again, but
yes.
I was heavily focused on Thunder Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of us, you and Connor, were also heavily put up on Thunder Rosa as well, and I still believe. Yeah, I understand the arrival of the Joker, who we'll talk about in a moment, was awesome, but it still should have been Thunder Rosa's match to win.
Exactly.
Should not have been. Well, you're about to find out. The Spades were the next one. Tekanti. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Red Velvet, Jade Cargill, Layla Hirsch, and Rebel.
Yep.
And finally, the Joker was the arrival of Ruby Soho, folks. Destination Soho. Ruby Soho.
There you go.
The audience was singing along with that song. They must have been listening to that for many days prior to All Out because it was so catchy. What I like about this is Ruby Soho retained the type of beat she had when she was Ruby Riott in WWE.
Yes.
Because I loved her entrance when she was in WWE. It had a really cool rock, punk rock theme to it, and at the same time, kind of reminded me of something you would hear when you see a bunch of surfers at a beach.
Yeah.
And so you have another one, except this one has lyrics, and they're really catchy lyrics. So it works. So it's cool to see Ruby Soho arrive in AEW. But yeah, folks, she's the one who won the match. And in my opinion, it was cool to see her there, but she should not have won the match because This also really takes away the whole rankings thing.
Exactly.
She started off by having one win, by winning the Casino Battle Royale. All of a sudden, she's number one contender. I'm like, in theory terms, no, she ain't. Thunder Rosa is next.
Exactly.
And it should have been Thunder Rosa to win, because if we're talking the rankings here, if the wins and losses matter, then it should have been Thunder Rosa. Ruby Soho, sorry, you should not have won the match. That's why I don't think I don't think she's gonna meet Britt Baker. I don't think she's gonna defeat Britt Baker at all.
Don't get me wrong, I'm happy she's here. A great moment and all, but you took it away from somebody, in my opinion, who has, I guess, earned her. I don't know if earned is the right word, but this is what I was worried about. It's another WWE person coming in, taking another spot away from your talent, your rising, upcoming talent. And I get it. Oh, Thunder Rosa wasn't up and coming in AEW. I understand that, and I get that, but still, it's another WWE performer, in my opinion, coming in there and taking another spot. Hear me out. I am not trying to put hate on Ruby Soho, because I like her. I want her to do well. Hopefully she's going to do a lot better than she did in WWE and her main roster, when, in my opinion, she should have won a championship. She's that freaking good. But in this, I just didn't care for it. It was just the wrong person, in my opinion, won this match. I'm happy for her, but she did not need, nor, in my opinion, deserve to win that match. I understand he wanted her to come in with all this hype and all that, but in my opinion, this just wasn't the way to do it.
Yeah, here's the thing. Very few occasions in the Casino Battle Royale does the Joker get the win. I mean, there was the time, trying to think, what are other Jokers that actually got the win? Because I do know that, what was it? Actually, here's the thing. I'm actually not kidding. I'm looking it up, folks. I'm trying to see. Okay, nope, that wasn't that one. Nope, wasn't that one. Nope, wasn't that one. I think Ruby Soho might be the first Joker to actually win. Nope, Adam Page. Adam Page.
That's true.
Adam Page was the first Joker to win. But here's the thing. That was at AEW's first ever event ever in 2019. So basically everybody was 0-0. And at that moment, it could have been anybody's ball game.
Oh, true.
Having a Joker show up, it's always cool, yes. However, it doesn't exactly mean it's not exactly mean it's always good.
If she beats Britt Baker, that is not going to sit well with me either, because the story is not with her and Britt. For God's sakes, this past week on Dynamite, Britt Baker buried her on the mic easily.
Yeah, she mentioned WWE. I'm like, oh my god.
In a funny way.
Can we?
In a funny way.
Yeah, in a funny way, because she kind of was stuck in catering in WWE for a long while.
Yeah.
The thing, of course, is when it comes to a Joker moment, it's always cool because it's like, oh my god, big arrival. But if you look at the history of Jokers, with the exception of Adam Page at AEW's first event ever in 2019, the Joker's never won because it's not the right move.
No, it's not.
It's not the right move. I mean, let's say example, if at last year's All Out when Matt Sydal made his first appearance on AEW, imagine if he was the one who won and got the world title shot.
Yes.
That would not have worked. No. Lance Archer was the right winner at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry nothing. This past year, Leo Rush, of all people, was the fucking Joker.
Yeah, Leo Rush came in, did his shtick, and left.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just too funny because you have Ruby Soho is a great arrival. It was good to see that, but good God, that was still funny. I mean, the Joker in the women's match in 2019 was Mercedes Martinez.
Yes.
Who at this point could come back to AEW one day. Because she's no longer with WWE anymore. She got released.
Yep.
And I really think that Thunder Rosa should have been the winner. If we last eliminate Ruby Soho, then good for that, but it just didn't feel right. That's all we're saying. It was a good match. It just did not feel right to have Ruby Soho win the whole thing.
Like I said, she wins the championship. Congratulations, but that is just no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rage or anything.
Yeah, we'll give congratulations, but we will criticize that it was the wrong choice At this rate, Dr. Britt Baker retaining against Ruby Soho is the right choice because I think Thunder Rosa should be the next women's champion.
Exactly. The story is legit between her and Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
I think maybe they're going to save we're going to have Ruby Soho take on Britt Baker at the show at Arthur Ashe Stadium, possibly.
Possibly.
I don't know when. I don't see that happening at Full Gear, though. I think that's where Thunder Rosa might get the title match. Or if not there, then Ruby Soho will get the match at Full Gear. She'll lose, and then Thunder Rosa will win it probably at Revolution in February.
Either way, Thunder Rosa should be champion.
Yeah.
Or should be champion, please.
Absolutely.
Okay, folks. Ruby Soho, but it's still not the right decision, in my opinion, to have her come in and win.
Yeah. All right, folks, we're going to move on to the next match. It was a career-threatening match. Chris Jericho versus MJF, and this was good.
It was cool.
It was a good match, but when I was there in person, I was like, oh my God, Jericho's really in bad shape.
Oh?
He's looking worse and worse physically. I'm like, oh my God, like his age is really catching up to him now. I just hope here's the thing, he won the match and thus retained his career, as I kind of figured it would, because it was a whole, if Jericho loses against the guy he lost to 3 times in a row, he would retire. Lo and behold, Jericho wins. We predicted that. That was way too predictable. But I like the little swerve they did by having MJF get a successful 3 count with Jericho's foot on the rope.
That's real.
Did you see everybody in the audience was pointing at it and just yelling and profanity and everything?
That's real. Like, I was like, yo, ref, look at the freaking rope. His foot's on the rope. Like, bam.
Sorry, Aubrey Edwards. I'm apologizing to you now, but I called you a stupid bitch.
Man, she's overhyped anyways. I like her, but she's overhyped.
Yeah.
And overrated, man.
I will say, what'd you think of MJF's Jericho parody entrance?
I knew this. Okay, the second I saw that, I was like, yeah, MJF is going to come out.
He had like the 10-second count. I'm like, Jericho doesn't do this. Not anymore. It was the same 10-second countdown from his original arrival in WWF in 99. So I got a little bit of nostalgia from that, but then I'm like, wait a minute.
The second we saw that,
I was like, something doesn't feel right about it. And then it appeared Jericho's last match. I'm like, yep.
Yes.
And yeah, I was also flipping off MJF. You expected me to cheer him just because he's a good heel? Fuck no. I'm going to hate his guts and say, go fuck yourself all day long.
Good heel.
If you have people yelling, flipping you off all the time, yelling fuck you and everything, then you are a fantastic heel. And MJF is the top heel of AEW.
Oh, he is.
But not of all pro wrestling. That's Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Okay. So I love the false finish, which was added by the restart. If this was WWE, they would have just gone through with it.
True.
But then again, they've also had those same moments.
Yeah.
This was just done pretty well to make it seem like MJF got the win with the Judas effect.
Like, for real. Like, I'm like, there's no way that he's going to win. Like, yeah.
I like how they had Aubrey commented 1, 2, 3, rang the bell, MJF's music played as everyone was freaking out.
Exactly. I'm like, chill out. He's not going to. He didn't lose. Calm down.
Well, I wouldn't think that like calm down would be the right thing because this has been done many times where
Exactly.
I was like, oh my God. I was actually freaked out. I was like, what? No.
Yeah.
And of course, yeah, everybody chanting restart match. I'm like, yep, there we go.
Exactly.
Jericho got the win in the end with the Lion Tamer.
Yeah. Which was cool.
It's cool to see Jericho continue on, but I do agree he should really hang it up soon. Like, very soon. He's reaching now.
His age is really showing at this point. I like him. I respect him for all he's done, but yeah, it's about time, bro.
Yeah, very much so. Overall, what did you think of the match with MJF? Like, actually, what did you think of MJF doing that Acai Moonsault on the outside?
Well, I've seen MJF flop before, so I wasn't really surprised in that. He did pretty good in this match. Got the right heel heat this time. Unlike this past week on AEW this past week, but still, that's another story for another day. He did very well. Jericho played this part well, but yeah, I really agree. It's time for Chris to hang it up because yeah, you were. I don't know. I mean, it's not really my place to really say it because I'm not Chris Jericho, but yeah. But overall, I really enjoyed the match. It was pretty good for what it was. And the right winner, of course, Chris Jericho. We all knew going in Jericho was going to win. Of course, people were like, oh, well, MJF's going to win, blah, blah, blah. That's totally fine. You got that, but yeah, the right winner was Jericho because, look, since would it make that MJF win again? Like, nah. Yeah. Chris Jericho won. Good stuff.
Correct. So I personally thought it was good. And then after that, folks, we move on to the next match. The next match was the big-time return of CM Punk as he took on Darby Allin. And I like how Sting did appear on the stage just so people could see him, but then he went back to the locker room.
Which was nice.
Because, like, you don't need me, man.
Exactly.
So, I thought it was really good to see the return of CM Punk. Like, he didn't have any big flashy entrance. It was just the traditional one with the cult of personality, but the audience was singing along, and that's what I loved about it.
Yes, sir. It's cool.
Yeah, if you'll probably see in the video, even though it's going to be muted because cult of personality is heavily copyrighted, folks. But I was almost in tears. I almost broke down.
You were in tears, man. Like, I almost to give a shout out to my buddy Beast Mode out there. So I was on Skype with him and a few of my boys on there. And this guy's over here breaking down. Like I said, that's his guy right there, CM Punk. And he was super, super happy that, his boy was back, doing his shit. We literally all yelled at clobbered time at the same time. It was a fantastic moment. And, oh my God, just like, and it's coming from a guy, like I said last week, a guy who isn't really the biggest CM Punk fan, but still I was like getting choked. I was like, what the heck? It's crazy. I love the show. I was thinking, okay, he's getting out in his wrestling trunks. He's gonna come out and bring that out. Brought the tights. So I was like, okay, that's new. So I enjoyed it. Kind of a little wacky, but it was still cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like how CM Punk no longer wears the small trunks. He wears long pants now.
Yeah.
I think that's a better look for him.
I like it. Oh, for real.
I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it, and I really think that he should keep that for his future matches too.
He should. I was a little disappointed. I was like, Tony Khan's gonna bring in Living Color. He's got enough money, and then that didn't happen. I was a little disappointed with that, but it was fun. It was a fun match.
Yeah,
spots that scared the crap out of me. But I'm just surprised, that Punk took Darby's suicide dive because he said he didn't want to take it, but you took it and you took it like a freaking champ. Oh my gosh, it was great to see Punk back in the ring.
I must say, it was cool to see all that stuff going on, and CM Punk, yeah, he did good. He did great, and I'll be honest though. There was a lot of moments where I'm like, yeah, I still see a lot of the ring rust. But here's the thing, folks. Just because it was his first match back does not mean he's free from criticism. He even said himself.
Okay,
he even said himself he wants the criticism if needed. I'll give it to him. CM Punk, all I saw was I didn't see any different than his performances in WWE from 2013 to 14. I saw the same thing. I thought, honestly, I would see a different side of Punk competing because this is AEW where you can, go off the charts or do other crazy stuff. But all I saw was the same thing I saw from the days when he was unhappy with WWE. I saw, pretty much the same thing. And I'm like, okay, it was good. And Darby Allin made him look great as well because Darby Allin's a fantastic talent and deserves the world. But I simply quoted this as it was a good match. I mean, I gave it 3 stars, maybe 3.5, I think. But nothing high up because just because it's CM Punk doesn't mean it's automatically the best thing ever, even though he's called the best in the world. Because, with all due respect, the best in the world did not perform the best of the night.
Okay, that's fair.
So, here's the thing. I know for a fact he'll probably do good in future matches, but I'm just going to I just put it out there like, I also don't like how the crowd, I'm not kidding, the crowd was chanting, "Fuck you, Darby."
They were?
Yeah, they turned on Darby Allin.
I'm not surprised.
It's Chicago.
Oh, that didn't come up on TV. I didn't hear anything like that, but I was like, we were too busy in the call marking out, so that was like I did not hear that. That's very a guy was at the show, so wow. Come on now, people. Come on now.
Yeah, it wasn't really that good. I'm like, Darby didn't deserve that. I mean, he doesn't deserve the hate. He's doing great. Sure, just because CM Punk was taking some hits, he's kind of supposed to take some hits. Did you?
And of course, Darby.
Did they expect CM Punk to?
Obvious.
Yeah, did they expect CM Punk to dominate or something? That's not how it works. CM Punk had not competed for 7 years at the time, and he's competing against one of the top athletes in AEW. Of course, he's gonna get his ass kicked at times.
For real.
CM Punk got the win, but he did not perform as good as everyone expected. I mean, honestly, I probably had a little bit of over expectations, but then I remembered it's been a long time. But
very true.
I did not see a CM Punk from Ring of Honor days. I did not see a CM Punk who competed outside of WWE. I just saw the same CM Punk who was upset with his time in WWE. That was that's my big criticism. It's nothing against him, but it's valid, constructive criticism, folks.
And it's his opinion too. So in the comments below, if y'all want to say something, it's totally fine. But it's his opinion.
And remember, folks, it's always okay to express your opinions like that. And at the same time, I'm not being an asshole about it. I'm just simply saying it wasn't as good, but I give credit because it was his first match in a long time. And I expect him to do better in his future matches because this is, retesting out the waters and jumping back and swimming.
Exactly.
Once you start kicking forward and doing a perfect breaststroke, then you're ready to go.
You know it, dude.
So I have good faith CM Punk is going to do well in his future matches down the line with whoever he's competing against. I just hope that he performs as his name says. If he's the best in the world, prove it. Because right now, the way things are looking after All Out ended, there may be others who might take that name now.
And I can kind of find it funny. I'm going to mention at the very end, but it's kind of like Punk was a bit overshadowed on this night.
He was.
For obvious reasons, but he was overshadowed.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that they did not make that the main event. But
for me, I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, it was great to see Punk back in the ring and do his thing. But we all know Darby carried the match, obviously. So don't get mad at that comment there. You guys know it's true. Punk, had to be carried in this match. But he still did his part. He did his job well. And, Darbs, he did great too. I love the spots. Favorite part of the match is like when Darby was going for the coffin drop. Punk just moves out of the way and just starts laughing. Yeah. That was funny.
So I'm like, CM Punk, folks, I agree. Yes, he's still got it, and he's going to do great. This just wasn't an example of a great, epic performance. And that's okay. If it's your first match in 7.5 years, of course you're not going to perform the best thing you've ever done.
Exactly.
Who the hell would?
Like Punk said, he had to get back on the bicycle and start learning how to ride it again.
Yep. Right now, he's still riding it. So give it time, folks. Give it time.
Overall, a really fun match. Like I said, favorite moment of the match was when Punk moved out of the way. The coffin drop was great. I love the counters into the counters of the GTS that Darby made. Part where Punk did hit the GTS and Darby just got GTS out of the ring, which was great. The part where Punk flung Darby into the freaking ring post and all that. I thought his head hit the back of his freaking post. I was like, what the heck? Flung this by legit like a freaking cannon. Like, what the heck? And there's suicide dives and all that kind of stuff. Just the stuff you expect from Darby Allin. It was great. And the ending was pretty cool. So I thought Punk was going to turn heel when Sting came back out. They're shaking the hands. Not Punk was getting with the GTS and turn heel. but that was something. And of course, he didn't turn heel. They shook hands, respect, all that kind of stuff. It was good. Punk had his good comeback match, and y'all got what you want. CM Punk is back, so I hope that satisfies you guys. But of course it won't, because y'all are wrestling fans, and nothing can satisfy you guys. So, yeah. Overall, good match. I enjoyed it.
Yep, I called it enough to be satisfying. I just think if he wants to be called, I think he should probably keep the best in the world nickname thing on the down low for a while until he can prove that once again he is the best wrestler in the world, because a simple catchphrase and the crowd chanting your name ain't going to do much.
That's fair.
All right, folks, we're going to move on to this match. This might not take long as much, but it's not going to be as short as when we predicted it, folks. Paul Wight versus QT Marshall. That was put second to last? Here's the thing. When it took place, before it took place, I thought it was canceled.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been fine if it was.
The reason they put it, I think, co-main event is because you needed the calm down match. You didn't want Punk going back to back, or Punk and Kenny going back to back with their matches. So,
well, actually, it would have been like Jericho and MJF, and then CM Punk and Darby Allin, and then Kenny Omega and Christian Cage.
You could have had Chris Jericho and MJF come in, but that was just me. But it was good.
Yeah, but the Paul Wight QT Marshall match was only 3 minutes, and I didn't watch it, folks. I'm not kidding. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it either. I was getting a bottle of water and some snacks from the concessions when it was taking place, and then it was over. So I didn't see it.
Well, from what I heard from the boys, they told me it wasn't that bad. So cool. I'm still not watching it.
Yep. So, folks, as of right now, I attended All Out, but I did not see Paul Wight's match at all.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yep. Time to move on to the main event, folks, which is Kenny Omega defending the AEW World Title against Christian Cage. And it was cool to see, Christian and Kenny's entrance in person. This was the first time I've ever seen Kenny Omega compete in person.
Well, you were in for a treat.
I was in for a treat. It was a good match as well. But the first 15 minutes were kind of bad.
It was very slow, which I expected coming from these two.
I mean, Christian can still go, but here's the thing. We're up against Kenny Omega, the guy who's like the fucking #1 pro wrestler on PWI, apparently, again.
Yes, and that's something.
Did not perform the best match of All Out, nor was he close. In my opinion, Jericho and MJF were second best.
Oh, okay.
But, oh man, it's like Kenny Omega and Christian, they did good, but it was only in the last 6 to 7 minutes that the match was so great. It's like when you're having a main event world title match, you're not supposed to calm the fuck down.
My problem was that they showed this match a few weeks ago for the the Impact World Championship. And that was like, I understand you had to build the first Rampage show, but that shouldn't have been the match. You should have saved it, the one-on-one, the first encounter between these two for the pay-per-view. And then you did a tag team match, and then you do it here. It's just that you should have just left it to this pay-per-view only. I just didn't like how they did it 2 times and you did it the 3rd time. Like,
yeah, hell, honestly, their match for the Impact title on Rampage was better than this main event.
Oh, for real.
And it was great. That match was great. If you didn't watch it, folks, go check it out.
And maybe because this show is 5 freaking hours long. Like, apparently 5 or 4. But I don't know, it was a long show, but still, like, I was just dead. Was the crowd dead? Because I've heard people on Twitter were telling me yo, the crowd's dead. The crowd's silent.
The crowd was dead because this was once again exactly what I've been saying before. That's AEW needs to cut down on the amount of matches they do on their pay-per-views. Like the Jon Moxley match, take out. The Paul Wight QT Marshall, take out. Take them both out. Then you would have probably had a 3.5 hour show, and when the main event started, 3 hours have passed. The fans are still there. And nobody's been bored. But, yeah, that really did not need to be there.
I agree.
So, that's why I'm saying this main event was taking place at a time It's a good thing they had a plan for when the main event ended, because at this rate, people were just hoping it would end so they could go home. But luckily, AEW had a plan, obviously, as we're about to discuss. But yep, they had a plan for that case. But I'm just saying the match should have been better. I mean, don't try to overshadow your main event by two arrivals.
That's what I want to talk about this paper. And I'm not blaming the two guys who showed up, which obviously one of them is my guy. But spoiler alert. But I think that they overshadowed the CM Punk return to the ring, and they overshadowed the match here. Even though this match really wasn't that important, but still, you overshadowed the world title match and all that kind of stuff, and you kind of overshadowed Ruby Soho a little bit.
Yeah,
that's just mine.
I really think as cool as it was to see like the arrivals of those guys, the thing is like the consequences of it is nobody's talking about the match that took place with Kenny and Christian anymore.
No.
If you want to talk all out, everybody. If you want to talk the main event, everybody's just going to talk about what happened after it was over.
Listen, if this match didn't take place 2 weeks ago, with back-to-back matches, it would have been great. And I agree with Christian. Their match with the Impact World Championship was a lot better than this match. And maybe, just maybe, guys, hear me out. Maybe it's because this pay-per-view went on a little bit too long, and you could have cut down matches. But it just didn't feel like a big, spectacular Kenny Omega 5-star classic that everyone raves about. And Christian's amazing too, but
he's also
just
getting
didn't
old.
Feel like I was just waiting for the shtick to be over. I gotta be honest with you, I was just waiting for the match to be over. I was like, okay, we got these two. When are these two people? Or when at the time I was like, when is who's showing up? Where is he?
Yep, it's like your world title match on the main event of a pay-per-view. If you're going that long, it's just like, example, when the women's main event of WrestleMania happened in 2019. By that point, 5 hours had passed.
Yep.
And the crowd was tired as fuck.
I don't blame them.
And I'm glad ever since then, they actually went through with the 2 nights of WrestleMania. Each one 3 hours.
Which apparently is continuing in next year.
This way, you can put in as many matches as you want, as long as you have a good amount for each night. And ta-da! There you go.
You know it.
And
exactly.
That's why I'm like, if AEW, no offense, if you want to put all these matches in, you may want to consider 2-night events too, depending on which pay-per-view you want to pick. But if you don't try and mash all these things in here, because that was WWE's mistake. Exactly. Put on too many matches to the point where you're almost all your shows. Hell, Willie, what do you think? Money in the Bank 2018, that WWE pay-per-view was 4.5 hours. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Royal Rumble 2019. Royal Rumble 2019. That was almost 5 hours. That was 10 minutes shy of 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little irritating.
It was.
Here's the thing, putting in too many matches causes your shows to go on way too long. And when your shows are going on way too long, everybody gets frustrated, and it gets to the point where they don't look at match qualities as the same anymore. Because I was also tired by the point we got to the main event of AEW All Out. Because Kenny Omega and Christian Cage, you put those two in the ring, you think to yourself, oh my god, that should be something worth watching. The problem is they suffer from the fact that they were in almost 4 hours into the show, and they already competed against each other 2 to 3 weeks prior.
Yes.
And not to mention, Christian beat Omega to win the Impact title.
Yes, he did.
Kenny Omega suffered his first singles loss. It's like his first major singles loss since what, 2019 or something?
Yes.
Because like he lost to Jericho in the main event of the first ever pay-per-view.
Yes.
And now we have Christian Cage, who got the win against him on the first episode of Rampage to win the Impact title. And now their match at All Out was not even as good as their match on Rampage. And it was horrible. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was just disappointing. That's the word, disappointing.
Yes.
This is the guy voted #1 wrestler of 2021. This match was disappointing.
And everyone going to say in the comments, oh, it's all about work rate and all that kind of stuff. Yes, we understand the PWI list about work rate, opinions, and all that kind of stuff, and it should be taken seriously. But the best wrestler in the world is putting on any kind of matches, in our opinion, then what is he? What is he? Is he the best wrestler in the world? Is he the best bout machine? What is he? I'm not putting the blame on Kenny, but I'm just saying, like, AEW, I'm putting the blame on AEW kind of and Tony Khan, because like, you need to freaking cut your matches down. This was way too long. I almost fell asleep. I'm not even joking about that. And not because these guys were bad. It's just that the match was placed and the card was too long, in my opinion.
And then, if that wasn't bad enough, folks, Kenny Omega retained the title. And afterwards, Christian Cage was ambushed by the Elite. And here's the thing. Gallows and Anderson came out to try and help Kenny win as well.
I'm not surprised, and people always complain, oh, but look at the tribal chief over in the other company. He has people helping him in his match. I know. I'm
and we're like, we were like, correct, and that's also irritating.
Yes,
we even said that's irritating.
You still need help all the time to win. And again, it's usually for heat and all that kind of stuff, but still, like, it gets very irritating. I get that's the point. I understand. Oh, that's the point. He'll blah, 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 blah. I understand that, but at the same time, you can kind of dumb it down a little bit.
Precisely. And then it got the match suffered from already happening and then being in there too long and to the point where everybody was tired and the crowd was dead. And then it got overshadowed. Folks, let's do it. It got overshadowed by the arrivals of Adam Cole, Bebe, and Bryan Danielson.
You know it.
They showed up within 3 minutes of each other, and at this point, nobody is talking about anything else that happened that night.
So the freaking lights went out, right? And Kenny's talking about, so-and-so, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff he usually spews. There's nobody who can stop me, alive or dead, and then the lights cut out, and then, Adam Cole comes out, I started marking out. I didn't even mark out. My jaw just dropped. I'm like, what?
If you want to talk marking out, that was me.
Yeah, Christian's the one who's marking out over here. I'm over here on my channel. I'm just like, my jaw is dropped. Like, what? It's funny because I made a tweet beforehand. And I'm like, what? Adam Cole shows up and confronts Kenny Omega as a joke. What happens? Adam Cole shows up and confronts Kenny Omega.
Like, what'd you think of, like, well, the lights go out, then you just hear, it's all about the boom.
I wanted to mark out, but like I was in so much shock afterwards. I was like, what?
Adam Cole, baby.
And people were like, oh, well, Adam Cole is going to re-sign with WWE, blah, blah, blah. And I understand that. And they actually gave pretty explanations. And I mean, Cole and Bryan both gave pretty explanations about why, they kind of decided to leave. And I respect these guys for not throwing shit the former company they used to work at. So I expected that from Bryan, but I also expected it from Adam Cole. So I just want to get that out of the way. I respect both guys or anybody in general who doesn't want to throw shit at their former workplace. That's just me.
Yeah, that's the one thing I respect.
That's
the one thing I respect about these two is because they left WWE on great terms to the point where, like, I'm pretty sure they'd be welcomed back with open arms.
Well, and I expect to go back in a few years. Cole, I expect him to go to AEW, and I said it from the very beginning. I said this on this podcast before. Bryan, in my opinion, is using AEW to get to Japan. That's just me. Until I heard his promo this past week, I was like, you know what? I'm fine with him here. As long as he's safe, he's healthy, he doesn't hurt himself, I'm actually fine with it.
Yeah, being in, like, trying to be careful with people's health is the most important thing in professional wrestling. Of course, Adam Cole realigned himself with the Elite after they murdered him 4 years ago.
Yep. And it was kind of funny because, like, people were like, oh my God, Cole's here to save us. I'm like, dude, Adam Cole kicks Jungle Boy in the face, does the Adam Cole Bay thing. The Young Bucks kiss him, which I thought was pretty cool. And Adam Cole gave his reasoning of why he's back and all that kind of stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it was really great as well. As we always said, Adam Cole, he's going to be a star no matter where he goes. I mean, he had all the great years in Ring of Honor. Where else was he? Where else was he prior to NXT?
ROH, PWG, New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's been everywhere.
Yep. And then he was in NXT. He had a great 4 years. He was honestly the best NXT competitor ever, in my opinion. Because look at all the shit he did in those 4 years. He carried the NXT. He carried NXT.
He did. Created a dope stable, became the longest NXT champion, became the inaugural North American champion, became tag team champion. Just, he did everything he needed to do.
Won so many year-end awards. Yep, won so many year-end awards. And now he's in AEW, in which case I see him performing very well. I don't see him being automatically world champ. I think he might be TNT champ in the future, though.
Oh, yeah. Give him time to be world champ.
Yep, Adam Cole is definitely down to do great things. But, and then there was the arrival of heel Balor's boy, Bryan Danielson. And I'm glad, I actually like that he did not come out to the final countdown as everybody was expecting. Because...
yeah, the final countdown too, yeah.
He came out to a rendition of Ride of the Valkyries because that was actually really good. That was the moment everybody cheered because when they hear dun 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 dun, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
For real,
and you guys are about to see, you guys are about to see my insane reaction on the vlog.
Go watch it; it's amazing, guys. For
it hasn't released yet.
This guys over marking out, and maybe on my stick, y'all should go watch it. My jaws just dropped, and I'm just like, "What?" Oh my god! I had my yes shirt on, like I was so excited. That's my guy right there, and I was happy. Like the yes chair's still going off. I was like smiling all around, man. It was an amazing moment. He did the kicks, though, that hit the right knee in one of the Young Bucks. It was just amazing.
And here's another thing: like people gave me shit because they were like, "You knew this was gonna happen for months. Why are you marking out?" I'm like, no, I didn't actually."
Exactly. I was even skeptical.
Yeah, I was honestly like, here's the thing, I didn't even know there were rumors. I'm the type of guy who does a good job at staying away from these rumors.
I tried to, and they find me, so yeah, it was just like, wow. And I said also, and this goes with the CM Punk thing, because I was like, nah, I'm gonna wait until they both show up. Punk, I when he showed up, I was like, what? Like, and same with Brian, I was like, I'm gonna believe when I see it. Here's Brian D. And,
I was actually, I was about to say, you always called him D. Bry. You're going to call him Bry, actually, B. Dry now? D. Bry, but B. Dry.
Well, I'm actually going to be calling him Brian D. So yeah, Brian D.
Brian D.
It was so amazing just to see. He was smiling on. I'm like, that's what I want. That's what I like to see from him. He's happy. And then he sat down with Tony Khan afterwards. Y'all can listen to the interview, and he was grateful. He even gave a speech afterwards after showing off the air that he's grateful. And I didn't like how the fans responded to this. He said he was grateful for the place he worked at. What did the fans do? They booed him. Really? Really?
I guarantee Bryan Danielson is going to be the type of guy that shows to you that not everybody who arrives in AEW is bitter with WWE.
Ryan, I guarantee you in a few years he's going to go back and maybe do one more little run. Maybe go in the Hall of Fame, whatever.
Yeah, Bryan Danielson, he has nothing to complain about when it comes to WWE.
He doesn't.
And neither does Adam Cole.
And neither of these guys, exactly, Adam Cole either. Like, he was grateful. It's like, oh, but Heel Balor, you said you didn't want this. I said I didn't want this because I am concerned about his health and safety. But I'm not him. He can do whatever he wants. And the one thing that kind of freaked me out a little bit what he says with Tony Khan, he says he wants to push his limit because Vince apparently was, let me see if I can make this right. Apparently, Brian thinks Vince was overprotective of him a little bit. Well, Brian, he's overprotective of you because you are injury prone. Very injury prone.
Our only hope is that he manages to evade these potential life-threatening injuries.
For real. I just want to see him happy. That's all that matters to me, is seeing my favorite wrestler happy, him being safe. And him, dude, there are dream matches I'm probably getting. Like, the one dream match I cannot wait for is going to be him and Hangman. I can't wait. We're going to get him and Kenny very, very, very soon. Like, very soon. Yeah. In probably 2 weeks.
And I would also say that, like, especially with the likes of Adam Cole, because he has done so much everywhere he's been, and he's only 32 years old.
Exactly.
He's only 32, and he's like, he's got a lot of years, and he's a fantastic professional. I have a lot of respect for him because here's the thing. I guarantee even if things did not go his way in WWE, he'd probably still be professional about it.
Exactly.
Bryan and
Cole
it's like Bryan and Adam, they went. Here's the thing. When it came to Adam and Bryan, I guarantee after their meetings with Vince McMahon and everything, they shook hands with Vince, and they both happily went their separate ways.
Exactly. We'll see them again in the other company. They're just stuck doing their well. Adam Cole, we don't know, but Bryan definitely I see going back one day. This ain't the end. And what I said before, I'm gonna say again. What else was there left for Bryan to really do in WWE? Nothing.
Yeah, and here's the thing: when it comes to the likes of Adam Cole, like when he talked about this contract extension, I like what he said. It's like, I got to do this amazing feud with Kyle O'Reilly because it meant a lot to me because he's one of my bestest friends.
Exactly.
And I actually saw the emotion in his eyes when he said that.
Exactly. One of his best friends works there, for God's sakes.
Yeah. It's like, neither Bryan nor Adam are bitter with WWE, and people booed Bryan for saying he was grateful for WWE. Well, get yourselves out of your own asses.
That's not really surprising with the super fans. Here, ladies and gentlemen, the super fans of AEW. You see, in their minds, Bryan, he didn't need them, blah blah. They needed him, blah 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 blah. Oh, you have no right to be grateful for them. Yes, he does. Y'all were doing the yes chant, which came from WWE,
and forever will be WWE's thing.
Exactly, y'all are doing the yes chants, which he did. Of course, he copied it from somebody else, but it came from his character in WWE. So what you're doing came from the company that you apparently despise. This is off to the super AEW fans who really take this stuff seriously. This is not to the regular fans, the cool guys that they were actually very friendly and respectful towards other wrestling fans. Like I said, I am very good friends with AEW fans. It's just the super ones that kind of get out of control and think that, oh, well, WWE is this and that, blah, blah, blah. But, off that topic, Bryan is grateful. That's the one thing I like and the one thing I respect about him. He's grateful. He's happy. Same with Adam Cole. He's grateful and happy where he is. Like I said, I expected Cole to go there, and he's going to do the amazing things. Bryan, he's going to do amazing things too. Just, I beg you, don't put the title on him yet. Don't put him on him in general. Not yet.
Yeah. So likes of Bryan Danielson and CM Punk, I think their main goal should honestly be to elevate talent, not like take everything for themselves.
Exactly.
Adam Cole's the type of guy who's at the age where he can elevate himself easily. He doesn't need to elevate anybody right now.
Exactly.
And it's like we have like we mentioned, Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole. They've had great runs, no worries, and they're.
Exactly.
Hell, no worries. Funny enough, Adam Cole was resurrected on being the Elite via Hakuna Matata.
Oh, for real.
Did you actually see that, Willie? Like that episode they resurrected him?
I did.
Yeah, the Elite resurrected him. He's like, oh, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna. And there's like, Hakuna Matata. Did you just say Hakuna Matata? It's like, and his ass, did he just say Hakuna Matata? Hey, quiet. It means no worries. That's just perfect quiet. It means no worries.
Oh, for real.
I love the Lion King. So, like I mentioned, Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole, they got no reasons to be bitter with WWE, so neither should you. At least when it comes to them. If you want to be bitter because of other people, that's fine. Be mad at them for that. But you have no reason to say that Bryan or Adam were mismanaged or misused in any way, because if you look at their careers in WWE, they were nowhere near mismanaged. Just look at Bryan Danielson in 2010. He started off with NXT as the Miz's rookie. He ended up becoming a United States champion that same year. Fast forward 2011, won Money in the Bank, became World Heavyweight Champion. And hell, he supposedly got buried at WrestleMania 28 when he lost to Sheamus in 18 seconds. But what happened after that? He started up a great feud with CM Punk for the WWE title and great back and forth matches. Then he teamed up with Team Hell No, one of the greatest tag teams ever. Fast forward to 2013. Won his first WWE title in an epic main event at SummerSlam against John Cena. Had his feud with the Authority leading to 2014 when he main evented the WrestleMania and won the world title. Sure, he suffered an injury, but when he came back in 2015, won the Intercontinental title in an amazing ladder match at WrestleMania. And even though 2016 to 2018 he was retired, he was still being featured regularly and was still a major star. Then he came back 2018, had great return matches, became WWE champion again, became the Planet's champion, one of the coolest things ever. 2019, helped elevate the Kofi Kingston, the Kofi Mania thing, teamed up with Rowan in a really good tag team. And then heading into 2020, even though he took some time off, he was performing really well even in the pandemic. And then there's 2021, his big feud with Roman Reigns heading into the main event of WrestleMania. And then his last match against the head of the table. And it was fantastic. So if you look at that career, I just literally just labeled Daniel Bryan's entire WWE career in a matter of minutes. And it was a fucking epic career.
It was.
And then, okay, you know what? Let's do Adam Cole here. Adam Cole, 2017-2021, whether it was Undisputed Era, North American Champion, Tag Team Champion, every War Games match. Then longest reigning NXT Champion, epic feuds with the likes of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And then, of course, afterwards, heading into 2020, he may have lost the title, but then he kept on going with a funny feud with Pat McAfee. Mm-hmm. And then 2021, the epic feud with Kyle O'Reilly.
You know it.
And now, look at that. What the hell is there to complain about?
Like I said, Christian, it's the sake of complaining because they really can't find any faults with Bryan Danielson or Adam Cole. They're, I guess, trying to make things up, which in my opinion is ridiculous. But to each his own, you keep spitting these claims that, Bryan was misused. Yeah, I saw that stuff on Twitter. Oh, he's misused and all that kind of stuff. They didn't use him to his full potential. That's just you being bitter and you're angry once again towards WWE because, that's probably something you guys do just to clicks and likes. So that's that.
Bingo. Call
yourselves real ones on Twitter, and yet y'all ain't real whatsoever. So, yeah.
I'll be honest, I should totally make another series on this channel where I'm actually talking about these things and how I feel, whether or not wrestlers were mismanaged.
You should.
I think that'd be really cool. Because here's the thing, it's cool to review and predict pay-per-views, but there's always other stuff to talk about in wrestling outside of that.
Oh, for real, bro.
So I might honestly consider doing this. I mean, sure, I'm still have to do my sins videos because that's the big deal about me. But there are times people want to know what my thoughts on other things are, and I just don't have the time to really talk about it that much. I could definitely think about it sometime. But overall, folks, that's our review for AEW All Out, which include fantastic arrivals of Ruby Soho, Adam Cole, and Bryan Danielson. Sorry. After 11 years of calling him Daniel Bryan, you can understand, right?
Oh, for real.
Bryan Danielson. Daniel Bryan.
You know it.
You know what? He's still Daniel Bryan in my opinion, but I'll still refer to him as Bryan.
I'll call him whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'm still calling him Bryan.
we still call Paul White Big Show.
Oh, for real. That's something that's not going to escape my head.
Over 20 damn years to be known as Big Show.
You know it.
And hell, even in WCW, he was just the Giant.
That's right.
So, the next time we'll talk about AEW, folks, is going to be in a couple months when we are going to discuss and predict the events of Full Gear.
That's right.
Hopefully Full Gear is going to be good because right now we're on a roll and hopefully we get some very cool matches. But the one thing we should also remember, and with these arrivals the last month of CM Punk, Ruby Soho, Adam Cole, and Bryan Danielson, we got to be careful because too many people come in, others are going to be taken off and put in the sidelines in catering.
Exactly.
So eventually, at some point down the line, our words will come true when we say AEW one day may have no choice but to release some talent.
And that's going to be a day where the wrestling community is going to be tested because they're going to be like, oh, but, just we'll see what happens. I'm not going to go full time about that, but we'll see what happens.
Bingo. Overall, though, folks, the next time we'll be on the podcast is going to be in about 2 weeks when we are going to discuss and predict the events of WWE Extreme Rules.
Can't wait.
Of which, once again, folks, I will be attending in Columbus, Ohio, so I hope to see some of my fans there.
There you go.
And the following week, we are going to be reviewing the events of that. And then afterwards, it'll probably be another few weeks, because then we are going to be talking about, yes, the return of WWE Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
Here's the thing. We've had some good and bad. We got probably one or two good Saudi Arabia events and a lot of bad ones. But you know what I'm excited for, Willie?
What's that?
When ashes fall, the legends rise.
Classic song.
I love that song. Hell, we may not even get it. We don't know.
I can see it.
All right, folks. That concludes everything. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And Heel Balor, you know what to do.
Yeah. I do. We're the losers, and this is our lounge. Pretty good show with AEW. Good job. Keep it up. Really keep it up.